The greatest enemy of yourself is yourself, said the great yoga guru Paramahansa Yogananda. That comes from not listening to the self. And I want to say the divine self, because there is a part of ourself that has ideas that are implanted from the outside world, or even the decisions we made of how we want to interpret the outside world. Then there's our feelings, which give us wisdom as to how we're responding to those ideas, and wisdom of what we want to do moving forward. Then there is the message. There are the messages from the divine self. Those are the messages that come with a sense of peace and contentment to them, to give us the conscious awareness of divine truth, of truth alignment with spirit, with God, with what is universal and our essence of what we're made of. So those are the things that we want to seek and feel a sense of peace from, rather than the ideas that are not giving us that, whether they were planted from the outside or the inside. One of the common ways that this has come up for me, is a common theme, is, oh, I want to make more money. I want to make more money. Okay, we all say that, right? And for me, though, it's been like, I don't make enough money from my work income to regularly cover my cost of living, or it's hard to see where it's consistent and dependable. It's not happening every month. And that also comes from an idea from society that our work should make a lot of money and be the thing, right? How many times do I get told, you know, are you making a living from being a speaker? Like, how do you do that? Like, I want to do that. And then we think that making a living from being a speaker needs to come from the direct income that we're being paid back from that, right? But I'm creating so much content on social media, as you're getting this video, through podcasts and all the writing that I do for various articles, that I don't get paid directly for. But this is my mission. This is my purpose. This is my real work of what I'm putting out into the world. Yeah, these are things that do not demand society to give me money back. And then there's also that desire just for stability, right? Which also comes from a sense of fear, and you could say some sense of the outside influence. But if we actually look back and say, well, have I really been struggling? Have I really not made enough money to live off of? But have I not been supplied what I need? Look at this beautiful home that you live in, this really nice condo in Colorado. But look at other places I've lived. I lived in a condo, high-rise on the hill of Seattle, overlooking like the bay, Lake Union, the Space Needle, the amazing sunsets, the Olympic Mountains at a distance. And then I lived in this house in the hills. You're going to get a theme here of mountain and ocean, in Santa Barbara. And you could see the ocean from this little house. I was among multi-million-dollar homes in this neighborhood in Santa Barbara. And there is a pool there, and I could see the sunrise from one side of the home, the sunset from the other home. I paid $800 a month to live in this little home amongst the multi-million-dollar homes. Oregon, lived on the coast of Oregon, had a home there. And I could walk out of my home barefoot. And after I was looking at the ocean from my office view, so I'd walk out barefoot, I'd walk over to the beach, one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I've been to many of them, so I feel like I could claim that. And there's nobody there. It was like a private beach to myself that I was living at. I just spent the last 2.5 months in Mexico. I'm about to go to Paris in Italy. am I really not supplied with the money that I need? Right? I just came home from Mexico and looked at my bank account and just saw this big whopping check from one of my real estate investments in my bank account. So there's the means there to support the lifestyle, the needs, the work that I'm doing. It doesn't necessarily come from the way that society views. This is just one example where I wanted to bring this up to just create the space to sift and sort and realize, when am I putting this pressure on myself and being an enemy of my own self where I don't need to be? This was something that we just talked about in the Sit and Succeed program that I lead. But when can we just open up that space and create a new definition, a new understanding of life? So we don't have to be woken up at 3 in the morning with stress on our head, that we can look around and see the gifts of the life that we currently have right now, rather than the fear of that potential collapse. And I know some of us are in very, very challenging moments. And if you look around right now, you're like, not so good. My sister is in Israel, and I'm checking on her more frequently than normal, as you can imagine. And the idea that there's citizens of our own country who have been kept in captivity for a very long time, right? That's a little more prevalent, I think, for her than for some of us who don't live there. Just that feeling. I mean, I feel like we all should feel this. Like, oh my God, there's hostages right now who are being tortured, and it's probably not just, Israel and Gaza. I mean, probably other parts of the world where these things happen. It's just like I wake up every day like feeling their pain and praying for them, and praying that, because the missiles were going over her head, and so praying that her family and her little boys can stay safe and grow up in a nice environment. And they just keep trying to live life fully to the best that they can and stay strong through that. So even through all that pain and the trauma, which is very real, is to give gifts back by sending love and sending hope of a sense of freedom and a better life for those suffering even more. And then for her suffering to realize, guys, brings, tears also to me, because I feel very lucky to have a sister who's this strong. And this is the kind of emotional impact, right? I could sit here in fear and say, oh my God, like how horrible for my sister. Or I could be like, wow, with the emotion that I'm overcoming right now, what a great person is a part of my family. So blessings to you all. Look at the beauty and the joy and the greatness that is around you.